The first change was jury selection, which happened at the Civic Center and is actually still going on. Now, we spoke to many operators who say the chilly weather has not slowed down business, but as you can see, many of them have their heat lamps out here tonight. Starting Monday, you are not allowed to leave your dog unattended outside unless you provide your dog with adequate shelter. Also, they've been selling out of merch. As you can see behind me, people are already buying it, and the season doesn't even start until May. Now, the stadium was only filled to 25%, but Juvenetti says they're expecting 55,000 people here on Saturday. Cotton, it looks the same every year, but this year it's very valuable, and it hasn't been this valuable since September of 2011. See that Lubbock is not affected like the rest of Texas, and that's because our grid is separate from the state. Set up 12 stick nets, and it takes about 5 minutes to go from this to this. This fire is minimal, but what is interesting is that there are a lot of dangerous chemicals inside this building, as well as COVID-19 samples that are waiting to be tested on. There's hundreds of people. We're facing 19th Street, so you can see the line goes all the way down here, and we'll walk back a little bit. It's wrapping around the building. Band members are here in Andrews tonight for tonight's parade, but right now, if you'll look behind me, you'll see that people are just now starting to trickle in, get their seat for the night, and you can also see that they haven't quite yet cut off traffic as it's set to begin at 7 p.m. tonight.
Karen and Abner, researchers used publicly available data from the Texas Inpatient Public Use Data File. The data of asthma hospitalizations is from 1999 to 2018 and broken down by zip codes. Then researchers cut the city into 4 regions: Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, and Southeast. They found a disparity of asthma hospitalizations in the Northeast region.
We can't neglect the fact that environmental factors also influence health.
Previous research shows uninsured minorities experience more asthma hospitalizations. This is true in Northeast Lubbock as the population has more uninsured minorities in the region. However, Dr. Duke Apia says when age, race, and insurance were compared across the city, Northeast Lubbock still had a greater disparity in asthma hospitalizations.
If you were to take, let's say, 1,000 people from the Northeast region, about 8 of them will be hospitalized for severe asthma over the period of observation that we looked at, that is 1999 to 2008, compared to other regions whereby the number is like 2.
The study hypothesizes this trend is caused by secondhand smoke inhalation or pollution from the industrial plants located in the Northeast.
And so we actually look at particulate matter. The downside for our study was we couldn't have that information by the regions that we broke them into or by zip code.
There is literature affirming increased particulate matter increases asthma hospitalizations, but measuring it can be expensive. Grants to purchase sensors have failed for years. That's why the Northwest Texas Legal Aid is hosting a Zoom conference Saturday at 10 a.m. to share some solutions.
Because I always say, Lubbock is a great place to live, and it's nice if we can make sure everybody has an equitable enjoyment in the warmth of Lubbock.
A 2014 study by the CDC also found residents across I-27 have more asthma. The darker, the higher the percentage of adults with asthma. If you're interested in learning more, we have a link to Saturday's Zoom conference. Karen and Abner?
Karen and Abner, as a Catholic, this is the most heartbreaking piece of damage. The first thing you do when you walk into a church is apply holy water to yourself. It's a reminder of your baptism, but now it's in shambles. The church smells thick of smoke. There's water damage all over the floor. However, the community came together to help worshipers find a temporary home.
And there's people crying, there's people praying the rosary, there's people on their knees praying, what was supposed to be, an event of gathering and everything. I mean, the good thing is we were here, but we didn't expect something like this to come up.
During Sunday Mass, the priests noticed clouds of smoke and calmly evacuated a church of nearly 200 people. Outside, they saw their place of worship in flames. Firefighters arrived, showing respect to the building as they put out the fire.
Some of the firefighters, before breaking that glass, they knelt. So we know that respect was there, or they were trying to show that they weren't doing out of malice, like we're just going to break to get in. They showed respect before doing that, and that meant a lot.
The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Without skipping a beat, Advent celebrations continued. The aftermath meal did not go to waste after a parishioner offered his restaurant Leal's for the congregation to eat, and First Baptist Church opened its doors so Catholics could celebrate evening mass.
It could have been easier to cancel everything and, that's it, but the unity of everybody coming together, the love, the support, and not only just from our parishioners, but also from the community. We had lots of people reaching out to us, calling, texting, messaging.
Now at this time, we're waiting to hear what insurance will and won't cover, but if you would like to contribute, we do have a link on our website. Karen and Abner? Karen and Abner, because of attorney-client privilege, we can't tell you his last name. Michael was arrested for criminal trespassing in July. By the time he was assigned an attorney, his charges had been dropped and he had been in jail for nearly a month on the county's dime. State law says the county should assign an attorney to a qualified person within 3 days of making a request, usually when a person is processed into jail. Now the county is trying to find out how many other people slipped through the cracks.
There were no charges pending against him, and he ultimately had been sitting in the Lubbock County Detention Center for 12 days for no reason. And it was all because of the fact that it did not reflect on the computer system.
Alicia Mpande is a third-year law student handling misdemeanor cases, including Michael's. Mpande says when she logged into the new Odyssey software system, she could not see mugshots or bonds. Charge statuses were not accurate, and it diluted communication between the courts and jails.
We really rely on this computer system to have information that we need to move forward. And on our end, it's difficult having to talk to clients every week and tell them, look, I don't know what's going on with your case. The computer system is down, things are going slow. And it's just creating a lot of frustration, I think, on all ends.
Law student Alyssa Douglas also had a client arrested for criminal trespassing. Her client was held for 15 days without charges.
But when you look online, it just said that the case was still open and nothing had been rejected. So there was no way of us finding out that his case had been rejected and now he's been sitting in jail for a whole 7 days with nothing holding him there, really.
State law says if a court has not filed charges quickly, someone is eligible for a PR bond, which means they can be released without paying after 15 days in jail. But since their clients were held beyond 15 days, they had to file a writ of habeas, or a request to get out of jail. Almost all the law students within the clinic filed writs to release their clients on misdemeanor charges.
There's something happening with that computer system where that message isn't getting transferred and it's resulting in people being held for no reason in jail.
After filing an open records request, we learned that possibly 100 people were not assigned an attorney through the Odyssey program. Court administrators say since the information was inaccessible, they were assigning attorneys on paper. In an email from September 1st from Philip Wischerkemper, we have had 2 weeks of 117 assignments, whereas we usually run no less than 150 and usually in the 170s or so. I'm betting there are 80 to 100 or so sitting around without an attorney. An email between the court administrator and the Lubbock Private Defender's Office reveals software conversion has been the issue. We have pinpointed some of it related to the computer conversion and transition, but also some with processes and reporting. County Judge Curtis Parrish says the software is not the issue.
And I think once the system becomes fully integrated, once the conversion is fully functional, I think we'll have a good system. The problem is we do have problems now. And so our job right now is to see the problems when they come up, correct those issues as quickly and as efficiently as we can.
Tyler Technologies reiterated that point in a statement that Judge Parrish has already said these are not Tyler software issues. Tyler Technologies directed us to the county as the best resource for answers to our questions. As our team continued to visit with these legal representatives and officials, court administrators made it clear an attorney was assigned to everyone who needed one by the end of September. As a result of this notification, our team re-examined the entire process and reports used to make referrals and assignments. Additionally, our office also began combing through the entire jail roster to ensure no other in-custody individuals lacked an appointment they requested and were qualified to receive. Since this statement, officials confirmed they believe to have everyone assigned an attorney. However, attorneys remain frustrated by the system.
Have to figure out a way to narrow it down, or you could be looking for your client forever. Literally, that wasn't there before you walked in the door. That's how quickly changes happen.
The Lubbock Criminal Defense Bar brought their frustrations to Judge Parrish in a commissioner court meeting a few weeks ago. Attorney Ben Garcia told commissioners attorneys are having to work longer by making individual calls to gather information rather than a simple search
function. You click it, service unavailable.
Garcia says every extra hour spent working on a case could cost taxpayers.
The bill is being footed by taxpayers at the end of the day, and they're having to spend more time to do their work than they should, which costs the taxpayers more money.
And every extra hour adds up to an extra day a person is held in confinement.
I mean, you're not able to pay your bills, you're not able to take care of your kids, you're not able to, your job, you could lose your job. There are so many things that could fall apart for somebody while sitting in jail, even if charges are pending against them. And so it's even worse if there are no reason to be holding or detaining you.
Lubbock County paid about $7 million for this switch in software. Looking elsewhere, Tyler Technologies is currently settling a $4.9 million class action lawsuit in Tennessee. It was brought by people who were wrongfully detained. They claimed Tyler had a duty to train staff for the transition. That suit also cited data loss and other problems here in Texas to our south. In Ector County as far back as 2011, and other issues that same year in Merced County, California, and in 2014, Cameron County, Texas experienced problems tracking inmates on Odyssey. No suits have been filed thus far against Lubbock County. Karen and Abner.
Thank you, Camelia.